in West. I'm a wife, a homeschooling mom of 2, and a passionate Christ follower. I'm from Big Yard Road, Carenage specifically, and I totally enjoyed growing up there. That's where all my family's from. I loved going next door. Auntie Judy's pilau is the best. I loved learning to cook roti with Auntie Jenny. You know, she still actually teaches even my own daughter to sew. That kind of environment. I mean, Auntie Mona is just so incredibly supportive, and I just love the support, that family environment that I grew up with in Big Yard. When I had to make a choice as to which party I would serve Trinidad under, hands down, it was the United National Congress. Of course, I mean, I think, well, I'm a woman, and Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, I've looked at her when, again, she thinks that I'm not looking. And there is this balance. There is a really amazing balance. I mean, she is such a powerhouse, but then you feel her compassion all at the same time. And, you know, those are the kinds of things. A major one for me was the open door policy. I mean, I'm not related to any financiers. I didn't grow up anywhere fancy. My parents aren't any fancy anybody. You know, I am just a humble mom with a heart that really wants to see change. I want our country to be better for the next generation. And they were open to me serving. Now is the time. Vote for representation that will lead with a heart. Vote for representation that cares about you, that understands you, that grew up where you grew up. I know what you face. Now is the time. It is time to put fresh ideas, fresh faces. Vote for me. I promise you, I will not let you down. Stand up for TNT. Now is the time. Let us fight for TNT to give our children a better future.
Listen, take some education. Listen, come on. Look back up your valleys there, B&M have to go. Just now is election, we bringing back UNC.
Anil is back to deal with the B&M. And to you on the radio, and to you watching on TV, do not adjust your dial. It is Anil you're seeing right here, live and direct, never went anywhere. Because the DouglAR could talk either way. Because the DouglAR could talk either way. Anil Roberts!
Good evening and welcome to DouglAR. Hey, girl, what massive go sign tell me? Hey, come off the thing like in the serious business. Massive go sign, or they don't get me whole tune yet. Oh Lord, election coming. Could you tell the lady to come off the it's serious business. Massive go sign. Keep your dancers and them away now, man. There's serious politics going on here. And we're sponsored on DouglAR Politics by Body by Becky. That's Body by my daughter, Becky. Check out on Instagram, body_by_Becky. No thirsty man, eh? Remember her father's a madman. I don't play with my 2 daughters, eh? Right? So all the ladies and things who want to go and lose some, especially down in Diego Martin, Petit Valley, Port of Spain, Chagaramas, Carenage, that area, check out Body by Becky. My sponsor, I'm my only sponsor, my daughter. Nice. I go deal with small pin last. Always share the live, please. Tonight might be a bit long, but I promise you, and tell small pen, Anil say, turn it on and listen, and have the whole battery of lawyers ready. Small pen are dealing with dum-dums last, and you are king dum-dum. So let me get the roll. Hey, let me tell you something, please people, play the video.
Oh my gosh!
I'm not sure who filmed that or who filmed it, according to the Nylon Hippolyte, the former member of parliament for the People's National Movement, Laventille West. Whoever filmed that, please. Galvanized don't have eyes. You may think you are just inside your doorway. Okay? While we thank you for that brilliant piece of CNN footage, it is too great a risk. Okay? Galvanized could turn right and fly straight in that open door, and you and your camera go on through. So please, let's be a little bit more sensible. All right? So, we're moving right along. So, Judy Raymond, you went to school at Oxford and so on. You are very bright, intelligent, aren't you? How come this Newsday? And look at this very carefully. How is Newsday putting the face of a child on the front page of the paper? Children's Authority. I would love to know how Newsday, Judy Raymond, puts the face of a child, open and bold face, on a news story with protests on the front page. Does that breach the Children's Authority Act? Children's Authority, I'm asking you all. Or is it one rule for everybody else and another for Judy Raymond and the Newsday? And Mr. Castani, I hear you loud and clear, my brother. I thought you were one of the good ones, Mr. Castani. Seems like you are going down that road. No problem. That's your choice, my brother. You allow your newspaper to go down in the toilet. That's why your sales down and will go down further. Continue. Good. Let them mash it up for whatever political benefit they have. So she knew on the inside though to blow up a big man face. So she blurred her man face, but have a child on the front page of the Newsday. As you can see, the expression all brighter than Judy Raymond. No child. Even the Guardian brighter than Judy Raymond. No child on the front page. Big editor. I still ask you a set of questions. You're not answering, Judy Raymond. Who you like more, Rowley or Kamala? Tell me now. Well, rain reached. A little drizzle the other day. And the whole country nearly needed canoe, boat, and kayak. Because Rohan Intelligent Greenverb Sinanan, the only honest Indian in the whole country, and Rohan, he cleaned out all the rivers, all the streams, and he had touched a river mouth. You're so bright. When you was born, they was selling Dunce biscuit. So you clean out all the river course. So the water will flow smooth and freely and fast to the river mouth. And here dredge the river mouth. So 10 to 20 foot of water going to come to 18 inches. What will happen? Your clung, Rohan. Anyway. So after 4 years and 10 months, I'm doing some miscellaneous here before I really get into the serious topic, right? Let me give you a few items. After 4 years and 10 months, the PNM policy is basically, we have done so well in COVID. Please vote for us for another 5-year term. Forget the other 4 years and 7 months that we crashed the economy. We suffered you. We made you starve. You lost jobs. Your roads were bad. You bust your tires. Your children had no food or textbooks, no laptops, no nothing. Crime was out of whack. Our procurement system went down. We didn't proclaim procurement. We did nothing. We had no schools built, no hospital, medicine. Kuva Hospital was closed. But for COVID, we did great. So vote for us. That's them strategy. So for 3 months, they think they did well, right? Okay. Well, let me ask you all this. Since you're allowing the media to make you all believe that, right? Not what you actually know, that we here test nobody. And according to Trump, well, if you test less, there will be no cases. Well, we know that in Trinidad and Tobago because we test the least in the whole wide world. We have the lowest per capita testing in the world. But all you say we're the best. All right. Well, let me ask you this one. Rowley said on many occasions, the science. We are being guided by the science. My government's policies and our decisions on lockdown and what we do is guided by the science. Let me ask you, Clung Science Rowley. What science did you utilize to close back down 2 hours on the bars? From 10 p.m. to 8 p.m. What science exactly did you utilize to make that decision? Did you test one person who went by a bar? Did you test one? Out of that one test, what percentage was positive? Do we have community spread? Have we had community spread for the last 9 weeks? Have we ever had community spread? So exactly what science did them doctor and them come and tell you after you see 4 picture of crowd by bar? You come to make a big daddy, big dictator decision. Shut down the bars from 10 to 8 p.m. As if COVID between 8 and 10 it just come out with mosquito and la jabless. That is the science. Please tell me what science was used to make that decision. All you just really believe this, man. I don't know, my people. Oh Lord, all you come on now, man. All you cannot have one silly human being who can't even lie good, confuse all you so much. Yes, science. Yes, what science? You test anybody when they drinking, they punching? Anybody test positive? If we had no spread and the border closed, where did COVID come from? Moving right along, yes? Here the science also. Since all you like science, the government open playway booths, Playway, the government gambling, playway and lotto, so the government could make the tax revenue and then betting shop close. And I don't own a betting shop, but I mean, fair is fair. This country has gone awry with these clowns. They just pick and choose who they want to open. They like KFC on the committee. Well, them start to pack up truck 2 days before thing open, while Royal Castle had to scramble on the last day, and Daryl's favorite food and Jap's fried chicken. And you all find that's okay. Them just decide 4 companies could get a contract without tender, without advertisement. There are 50 companies, security companies in the country. Don't matter. Them just do what they want. And you all say that's okay. What all you want the DouglAR to say? And look. Imagine this Express editorial. Now you all understand how perception goes, right? All of you all listening there, and share the live, please, because I want it big. I want to hit 4K when I deal with small pin later, right? Small pin, that's going special for you at the end. Look how perception, I have now explained to you all, and most of you all who may not have thought about it are now going, but wait now, the DouglAR makes sense there. On what basis, what scientific basis, them make a decision to close bars after suffering bar owners, suffering bar staff, suffering bartenders, suffering cleaners, suffering cooks, suffering chefs, suffering waitresses? For no reason, because according to your figures, we had no COVID. We had 116. Well, they now say they had some cases that in quarantine. That don't count. That is who come back, right? That's not out in the community under your quarantine, correct? But here the Express. The government's decision to adjust the opening and closing hours for bars across the country is well advised, given the demonstration by patrons of throw caution into the wind atmosphere over the weekend. Express, you always just help promote stupidity of the highest order. So what are you listen, you can't have it both ways. Either the government of Trinidad and Tobago is the greatest in the whole planet and they've conquered COVID and the curve was flattened. Unlike the rest of the world, we are the best. Well, if we are the best, then this decision is not based on science, because they have not tested anyone. Not one person was tested. Not one positive test came. There's been no community spread. And it's a decision based on stupidity, authoritarianism, and dictatorship, just to show people that he's the boss. So Express, please. Oh, but there's one other thing. You see, truth be told, anybody with a brain know that them lie, that they didn't test, that 3,400 tests over a 3-month period for a population of 1.41 million people is woefully pathetic. That cannot give you one iota of data that you could rely upon. There is no science. So if there is no data, there is no science. If there is no science, there is no decision making. And if there is no decision making, Rowley is still incompetent like the other 4 years and 7 months. You see? Now you see the truth. They do not even believe their own lie. That's why they panic when they see crowd. Because they don't know if it have COVID. They don't know how many people get sick. They don't know if them 500 cases of respiratory ailment and death, if any portion of that was due to COVID. They know nothing. That's why they panic. That's why they shut down bars. Because they don't know. Because they're lying so much. Because you all understand what I'm saying? If they were telling the truth, there's no need to panic. Everything could open up. Everything could move. Right? Just be careful. Everything nice. And open up and flow. So what if people lime outside? So what? I want to say a special good afternoon to Bastille Pandey, boy. My hero, boy. Bastille Pandey. Since 1952, you working and walking for people. Bastille Pandey, boy. Oh, Lord, I love you, Bastille Pandey. I respect your work. You take baton for people. Horse kick you down in South with man on horse and khaki and thing. You take lock up for people. You walk the length and breadth of this country for people. You work hard for workers' rights. You're the good prime minister. You bring programs for poor people. You bring foreign use car for poor people to drive that Coleman, but trying to get the poor people off the road so he could drive easy. Bastille Pandey. But you're DouglAR. You're confusing me, my brother. I watch your debate, Bastille Pandey. No paper. I love that. Love it. Brilliant. You could put on your British accent when you want. You could talk like an Indian when you want. You could talk like an African if you have to. You could talk like a Trini all the time, Bastille Pandey. But Bastille Pandey, you teach me one thing. Leadership is not a cow. You can't just hand somebody leadership. They have to earn it. They have to work hard for it. They have to get on the ground and get respect for people. And the people will transform you into a leader. Leadership is not a cow. So, Basil, why are you trying to hand your daughter a cow just so? Leave the cow, tie up, let the cow eat grass, eh? You all not going to split vote? That is very true. Nobody is going to vote for all you. You had no candidate, local government, election, call jump out, eh? Kenwin Jones kick a ball. Look, Kenwin Jones gonna give me a rest, boy. Martin Daly, all of a sudden, all the PNM getting bright. Martin Daly wrote an article, and him, on May 16th, he told us, talking about the Honorable Prime Minister Keith Christopher Rowley. On May 16th, he told us that in his career, he had functioned as a scientist and had advised political decision makers. He found it easy, therefore, to follow the scientists in the management of the pandemic. His reference undoubtedly to practitioners in the natural sciences. Ooh, Martin Daly. That is what the young people call shade. That's a low blow. Yes, he's a geologist in natural sciences that are not really basically sciences for pandemic purposes. Martin Daly, you're hitting your own boy a little cuff, so. Don't get tabby. DouglAR does not believe that all of a sudden you are impartial and so on. One article does not a summer make. All right, Mr. Man Martin Daly, who went on the Caribbean news and say Kamala looking like a spoiled child tattletale because she tell the U.S. You still want to talk that rubbish, Honorable Senior Counsel? You want to talk that rubbish? Well, after this show, if you dare say that again, you should just, your children and things should just put you on a rocking chair and tell you, cool yourself, Martin Daly. So do not feel, because you criticize Rowley in one column out of 64 in the last 4 years and 10 months, that makes you independent, eh? Martin Daly. And let me ask you this. Do you find it fair and equitable that everybody, back in the day, when I take a mortgage from RBC, and I have 5 lawyers at my disposal at very cheap rates, because it's my mother, my father, my 2 brothers, that I had to go, and every mortgage at RBC had to go to your law firm? Was that equitable? Was that fair? Did that create a sense of equity in the society? Martin Daly, give me a flipping chance here, boy. Signs of changing energy market. Now, Keith Christopher Rowley said, and I quote 4 days ago, the energy sector is in better hands under me than under Kamala. The energy sector is in better hands than when I met it. Petroton shut down, you know. No foreign exchange, no refinery. We ain't making nothing, no gas, no oil, no bitumen, nothing. Point Lisa dropped from 74% capacity to 22%. Nutrient now shut down. Another company, methanol, Methanex, all kind of things shut down. A steel plant shut down. Energy companies cannot afford the negotiation that Rowley and Smallwin Payne went Houston to negotiate. But this clown Rowley says that it is in better hands. You only could believe anything that man, no really and truly. PNM only have nothing better. Out of all you, that's the best all you gain with. BP's decision to sell its petrochemical business, BP, is major, said energy economist Gregory Maguire, very bright fellow, energy expert. What has happened with them is going to happen with a lot of other companies. These companies are bleeding. And if you can get new capital by selling non-core assets, that can ease the hurt of the shareholders, Gregory Maguire. So energy outlook, not good. Keith Christopher Rowley also said that the economy is going to bounce back by August 1st. 20% of small and medium businesses cannot open back. I told you all Jaffa restaurant last DouglAR Politics can't open back. You see it in the papers yesterday. Jaffa, good clientele, great food, not considered a struggling business, cannot open back. I heard J. Malone's, I'm not sure J. Malone's, please let me know if you're all opening back or not. And also All Out, where we go online and we could hear Pan Invaders could be practicing and you're in All Out. You could be watching fellas playing cricket in the oval, practicing in the nets, drinking a rum and soda. I hear All Out may not be opening back. Look at this. That is a high level of business. So imagine all those underneath. But your prime minister who's telling you, come and vote for me. Red, we in this together. Yes. Oh Lord, Delcy Wine is saying the economy is going to bounce back by August. Not August 1st, 2025, you know. August 1st right here. Gas pains for 2 more years. Retired NGC President Frank Lukin, one of the greatest czars and experts in energy. 2 years. Even Ken, let me don't even talk about Ken Julian, right? But Rowley saying August 1st. Now, before we take the break, I want to ask Dr. Vishnu Bisram of NACTA. So, do the DouglAR favor now. When you print your poll, put some more data, right? Because when I read your poll, it doesn't make scientific sense. A poll is not a story. You see, I could sit down here and I could tell you all based on eye on the ground and so on, that yes, the PNM are losing. David Naked has taken a 2-point lead into Tunapuna. That in Maruga Tableland, Gypsy is going to get a blowout by 12 points. That in Sawa Barataria, the Palance man gone to the left so far he end up in St. Joseph because the curtail Saddam Hussein point on he right now. And I could write a whole story. Vishnu Bikram, whatever your name is, NACTA. Stop it now. Because there's no way. Look, he said he polled 2 constituencies. But in the article and in the analysis, he gave opinion on 5 constituencies. He then said he tested, he did a poll with 164 respondents. In a constituency with potential 24,000 voters, you take 164 respondents. What is the margin of error of that poll? What is the questions? And on the other one in Toko, he do a 216. But here how the poll has come out. Now for you all who know poll is a very specific thing. I tell you, ask a set of questions to come. All right. What is the major issue in the constituency? Bam. You come down. Crime, economy, jobs, whatever it is. And you come down there. It don't tell you. The poll will not tell you. Well, jobs is number 2. But if you see that they build a highway, that jobs will move down to number 3 because the ladies are wrong on by the mango tree said that if the highway passed by the mango tree, they will not have to sell palori. And therefore the mango sales and the mango chow will increase their sales and there will be more jobs. The survey don't get your story. So let me read some of the knocked up all, you know. And to the newspapers, all you just printing this. And it is really ridiculous, you know. So Mr. whatever your name is, send Anil your surveys, your research. Let me see the science now. How you come up with this, because I am amazed. I love polling and statistics and so on, and I would like to know how you get a poll to tell you all this nice story. Hear this story. He said, Tunapuna for the last 2 weeks, right? The respondent survey generally reflect, right, from an upswing of a tie against the unpopular incumbent Toko Sangre. So you doing a poll about now with a candidate, Roger Monroe or wherever he is for the PNM, and our girl, Nabila Green, young bright girl out in Toko. But your poll that you doing to see who leading, they tell you that Glenda Jennings Smith was unpopular. Oh God. Oh God. I had to laugh, and we just read this, and man has been quoting this and want to discuss with me, you know. The unpopular incumbent Toko Sangre Grande, right? In the February poll, she downswing trailing by 10%. Up to a day ago, some 75% of voters in Toko Sangre Grande said they have never heard of Nabila Green. But all the papers, when the PNM choose he, all the PNM people say, but who is he? We don't know he. But Nakta come and say that the people in Toko don't know a girl who grow up, born, they bred, they help, their community, they charity, they work, they, oh Lord, they don't know she. Okay. And it said Roger Monroe, alderman of the regional, he is known by 90% of the voters. From 164 people, you reach 94%. How? 90% know him? Okay. You sure about that? Then he's come to Tunapuna. He said Ford remains the favorite against UNC challenger David Naked. Please, I just want to see that now. Out of your 216 people, I want to see who you ask. I want to see the demographics. I want to see the age group. I want to see the questionnaire. I want to see it. Because people don't even know who Esmond Ford is when you're going to Tunapuna. Them don't know when you ask them about who's the MP, them they say, who? The PNM Rowley don't even know Esmond Ford. He had no ministerial portfolio, he did nothing, is nothing. If you go balancing house, they don't even know who's Esmond Ford. They think it's Ashford Ford, the red man. What's your name again? Yes. So they say David Naked, while Naked has been gaining momentum. So this poll not only giving you spot on results, it's telling you that you're gaining momentum. So this is a moving poll. The poll that he gaining, how statistic could tell you you're gaining momentum when you just take one survey of 216 people. You didn't take 5 surveys over 6 days and see gaining momentum. It's one poll you say. How one poll could give you a moment? I don't know. No. My country. I love my country. You know. Let me continue. You know. The actor said he has been gaining momentum because of his celebrity status as a former national footballer. How you poll that? Well, yes, boy. I think Naked is, yes, gaining momentum because he used to play football. Yes, man. That how you poll that? Or you just writing a story? What nonsense is this? You are polling intent. You are polling mens rea. You are polling motivation. It's amazing. This poll must be thick, sir. This poll must be a tea and tech poll. It had done there, no? Nakta said Ford is praised for being the best MP. Best MP where? People don't even know he. The cabinet of the PNM don't even know he. If you was to call people and ask them list MPs, they might start off with small pin, Rowley, you know. They might even make a mistake and say Rohan is an MP because he tried to move Glenda Jennings, you understand? So he's a best MP in the constituency's history. But Tunapuna had Eddie Hart. But Dr. Eddie Hart might be one of the most beloved MPs in the history of any constituency alongside Kamla and Bastio Pandey and Jack Warner. And Eddie Hart in that category. You come to tell me on a poll that you decide I can't do no more. All you stop it now, man. Could you all start to get some serious polling so we could see what really going on, please? I don't even know how this does get print. So, Nacta, send me your data now. If I read it and I see it and I agree with it, next week I go say, hey boy, Nacta, you big up yourself. We coming back.
No, you can't take what's rightfully mine. No.
This is a prime example of the wanton neglect of Tinapuna and by extension the country of Trinidad and Tobago by the PNM government. Here we have an excellent school that was built by Kamala Prasad Bisasa, the El Dorado preschool, which is something that we very much need in this, not only in this community, but in the country. And they have purposely neglected this school. They have not opened it because it was built by our honorable political leader. So I just want to point this out to you. This is one of the many mishaps and many mistakes of the PNM government, and we look forward to changing this when we get into the government.
So strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong so long. You know that my pride was gone. Oh no. Something inside so strong. Oh.
Welcome back to DouglAR Politics. Archie, you know, when you're studying a situation and people get ready, and to all the members of the media, I am allowing you all and I'm begging you all, the information that I'm giving you and the documentation is available for you to ask the pertinent questions. You do not have to tell Rowley, Smallpin, Newman George, Peter Clark, Eustace Nances, Christine Sahadio, or Riza Salim where you get the questions from. And I don't need no credit. I need the truth so that my people could vote with sense. My people can make a decision come election time. Archie, you know, remember there's a clip of Rowley where he's stuttering and so on. I looked at it again when my brother God Christopher played it. And do you know, when you have more information and you go back and look at a clip of a man stuttering and trying to get out of a situation, and not even his pathological ability could help him, he was crumbling before your eyes. But there's a piece of information that came out there. I want to know if my DouglAR Politics people, if all you're paying attention. I'm going to play this clip again. Listen to it carefully in light of what I bust last week, Tuesday, and see if there's a bit of information that shows you there is a connection, a vast, great connection, greater than what we even thought, between the February 27th shipment that started in Europe as Shell, came across the Atlantic at Trafigura PTE and went into Pointe-à-Pierre. Remember, it reached around Trinidad and Tobago. I gave you that. I told you where it stay, how it stay. Archie, play Rowley stammering and stuttering that all you want to vote for this. Look at it. Just look at this man. Go.
She came here on the meeting was postponed from Monday the 16th to the 27th of March. So she came on the 27th. And yes, there was a delegation, a small delegation that accompanied her. I think they were all men, most of whom were not introduced to us. The meeting took place at the diplomatic center, and on the Trinidad and Tobago side we had Minister Young, Minister Moses, myself, and actually there was no, she did not discuss before the details of what you were going to talk about, right? Present with her was, I'm now discovering, some person called Asdrubal Chavez, who I'm now discovering as part of the commission. He worked as part of a commission for PDVSA restructuring somewhere in his past. Nobody in that meeting was introduced to us as president of PDVSA. Nobody. And I can confirm now that at that meeting on that day, there was no president of PDVSA there. I'm discovering that subsequent to that meeting, this individual had been promoted, right? Okay. But on the day, on the 27th of March or the 16th of March, when this meeting was expected, 27th of March, no person was introduced as representing the president of PDVSA, nor was there, as to the best of our knowledge, the president of PDVSA. There was an individual who had a contact with PDVSA on the commission for PDVSA restructuring. That I'm discovering that now. Question: half of the press conference was about an aircraft that was sanctioned by the United States. Well, let me just say this.
No, one day for you good. I wonder if you're all good. Let me remind you of the new revelations that I gave you on Tuesday last week, and then on Power 102 on Wednesday, and then Thursday, DouglAR Politics. A shipment of fuel left Augustus, Italia on February 27th, while all of us was getting ready to drink rum, carnival, winding down, women looking good all across Trinidad and Tobago. It left with full stamp and full paperwork heading for a destination called Pointe-à-Pitre, Trinidad. The consignee was Shell. Halfway through, it changed to Trafigura, who presented an invoice to Paria Fuel Trading Company. Okay? The Manolatis was the ship. The Manolatis entered Trinidad and Tobago's waters on the 16th of March. The 16th of March. It floated around outside Chagarama's Day from the 16th to the 21st. Did you all hear Keith Christopher Rowley there? When was the meeting with Delcy supposed to have been? The 16th of March. And he said it twice there. It didn't come out. And Stuart Young Smallpin said it before. Remember, he said he was taking care of us because Delcy wanted to come on the 16th. But she had possible COVID. So he delayed the meeting to the 27th. So the ship, Wilmer Ruperti ship, with fuel, reached Trinidad on the 16th. And Rowley say, back then, I didn't even pick it up until now with the new information, that the Delcy visit was scheduled for the 16th. Coincidence, my people? Coincidence? Keith Christopher Rowley in the Parliament, Friday, when Rudal Muninal brought a motion against the speaker, Keith Christopher Rowley got up and said some of the most, it on my Facebook, some things that you have to watch about 20 times to actually believe if he really said that, if he really mean it, or what is wrong with this human being. He said that Kamala and the UNC concocted this entire story that Paria had sold gas to Venezuela, aided and abetted by Reuters or something, he said. And that Paria had refuted, beyond any doubt, had presented irrefutable evidence by way of press release that had cleared that up and had shown that Paria and the government had done no wrong. I can't make this up, you know. No matter how much I don't like that man, I can't lie on him. That's what the man said. You see all this paper in my hand? Well, let's stop eating popcorn. Pay attention now, right? Rowley said that the UNC members of the House created a story. So, Kamala brought Delcy Rodriguez and Astrobal Chavez. They came to see Kamala. Kamala closed the borders to all our citizens on the 22nd of March. Kamala opened the borders surreptitiously without announcement. Now, if this is a foreign policy and this is a visit of a state, the vice presidente de Venezuela, how come there wasn't a little red carpet? There wasn't a little 3 photographers to take a picture of Rowley greeting through elbow with Delcy on this state visit? How come it was that we had to make noise and so on for them to even admit Delcy reach? You thinking? But all you can't believe that Rowley will say this, eh? Archie played for them. Archie, you have it? Yeah. Played for
It's created a story in this country that a company owned by the people of Trinidad and Tobago violated American sanctions against Venezuela by our company selling fuel to Venezuela. That is the long and short of the allegation. It found its way into Reuters, got published in an American newspaper somewhere in the Midwest, and landed in the opposition in Trinidad and Tobago. And since then, they have been milking it like a cow. Mr. Deputy Speaker, it has been demonstrated beyond any repudiation that that allegation has no basis in fact. So, if that is so, and I'm not here ruling for the Speaker, or determining or defending the Speaker's ruling. The Speaker's ruling was properly made. But the fact that he's alluding to, and which you had to caution him today on numerous occasions, not to drift off into Paria, that allegation which the UNC is the originator of, they who gave birth to that lie, Mr. Speaker, it has been shown that Paria has not done so. By irrefutable evidence put out in the public domain, whole page ads in the newspapers, members of parliament on the government side responsible for Paria, we have demonstrated to the world.
This gentleman would like you all to vote for him and put him and Noel Garcia in charge again of spending all your money for another 5 years without procurement, without board, without tender committee, with him and Smallpin going to Australia and spending $1.768 billion on ferries, and Smallpin's brother just getting lucky and getting $3.625 billion of work. That's what they're saying. That man wants you to vote for him. Okay. Irrefutable evidence. You all have seen the ad that I told you they should not have printed. I destroyed that ad with 20 different points that shows that everything it is not factual. But let's go through the whole thing now. Let's see if this is a UNC concoction and that Rowley has brought evidence, irrefutable evidence, that no such thing happened. No gas cell, no Venezuela, no link whatsoever, no Petrotrin, no Patriotic, no Condition 7 with Trafigura PTE. None of that happened. That is all in your mind and my mind, and he is honest like Mother Teresa. So Kamala make up that. So Kamala bring Delcy and Astrobal Chavez here. They came to see Kamala. Kamala closed the borders. Kamala opened the borders to let in Delcy and 5 PDVSA officials on a sanctioned, U.S. sanctioned jet. Kamala danced the conga line with Maduro. Kamala recognizes Maduro, right? Not Rowley. Kamala, who recognized Juan Guaido as the interim president looking for elections for the people of Venezuela. Rowley says Kamala. Okay. Kamala said that Trinidad and Tobago is not bound by the Rio Treaty, or was that Rowley? Kamala moved Rowley best friend of 50 years from chairman of HDC to chairman of Paria. Who moved Rowley best friend of 50 years from chairman of HDC to chairman of Paria? Kamala or Rowley? Kamala appointed Rowley best friend wife as speaker. Kamala appointed Bridget as speaker. Okay. Kamala told the speaker not to recuse herself and to adjudicate on a matter involving her beloved husband? Is Kamala tell us sit down there and adjudicate on the man she loved for so long? Kamala said meeting of Rowley and Delcy and Astrobal Chavez. She said the meeting with 4 other PDVSA officials was about COVID-19 first. Is Kamala say that? And then it changed to national security. Is Kamala say that? And then the meeting changed about refugees who are here in Trinidad, all of whom hate Delcy Rodriguez. And then it changed to no advance, no abuse topic. All right. Okay. Did Kamala make Rowley take umbrage against the USA ambassador's statement 2 years ago? Remember in the parliament? I take umbrage, Madam Speaker. Kamala made him say that? Kamala wrote a statement for the US ambassador Mondelo when he was correcting small pin? Because it's Kamala and? Okay. Kamala wrote the speech for the ministry, for Miss Chung, the representative of the US State Department, who in speaking with AmCham told them to be very careful and warned them against doing business with anybody associated with Venezuela? Did Kamala write the speech for Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State of the United States of America, when he said Trinidad and Tobago needs to be very careful about who they associate with, and that anybody trying to attempt to assist Maduro in evading sanctions will feel the weight of U.S. authorities and the Treasury Department? Did Kamala write that speech for Mike Pompeo? Y'all want to vote for this man? Okay. I hope all you following it long. I hope you don't get bored. Because to show with irrefutable evidence that that man is a complete stranger to the truth. If you all didn't know it from Emailgate, from Renaissance, from his 4 years and 10 months as Prime Minister, from not closing down Petrotrin, to every single word he has said about crooked bridgeman's come back down. If all you didn't know it, now you know it. Did Kamala use satellite to track the movement of the Aldan after the Aldan, the Liberian ship that left Pointe-à-Pitre, switched off its transponder 1 day after leaving here? Did Kamala instruct the U.S. Department of Justice and Attorney General Barr to bring down indictments on Maduro and 14 others of his cabinet? Did Kamala tell 16 of 19 signatories of the Rio Treaty to vote for sanctions against Maduro for trampling the Constitution of Venezuela? Did Kamala tell the U.S. to keep Smallpin and Johnny Sukaran far away from the largest drug bust in TNT history? Think about those two clowns. Smallpin, all you think about Smallpin in his bulletproof vest, walking with Gary, waving at the crowd, and the crowd are waving at him. You remember anything for a picture? Think about tight pants Johnny Sukaran, who feel he's the sweetest things in sliced bread. Anything for a picture. Johnny Sukaran. You mean they were involved in a $165 million US bust with the USA, and we see a picture of two of them, Smallpin and Sukaran? If them was involved there, we'd have seen them lying down on tons of cocaine. They would have been lying down on its foot cock up. One with bulletproof, one with tight jeans. All you see any picture? Or is it that the US tell them all you stay far from this? This had nothing to do with all you. Okay. Me I see no picture. If all you see the picture, send it for me. But my boys is photo takeouters. It's Kamala who tell Newman George to print a release in the papers on May 19th from Paria Fuel Trading Company. Is Kamala who do that? Is it Kamala who tell Paria to begin the story on March 27, Saturday, the day after Delcy leave and the PDVSA visit? Is Kamala who tell them print that for the population? The story really began on February 27th in Augustus, Italia, with the Manolatis, with 321,000 barrels of fuel. That's when the story really began. Kamala began the story there. What she work at Paris and make the order. She talked to Rumpetti. The Manolatis arrived in Trinidad and Tobago waters on the 16th of March, 2020. This date is very important. You all just heard Rowley stumbling and starting. Well, the meeting was supposed to be on the 16th. The Manolatis arrived on the 16th. Coincidence that Delcy wanted to come the 16th to talk face-to-face to Rowley about COVID-19 on the 16th? You sure it was COVID-19 they wanted to talk about? Huh? Irrefutable evidence that Rowley don't lie, that they did no such thing. Okay. Here the rest that Rowley say Kamala create, right? Newman George. I'm talking to Newman George. Rowley brethren. Rowley soldier. Rowley partner 50 years. Could you explain how the Manolatis shipment for Shell transformed to Trafigura? You have to explain that, Newman George, because the original documents on February 27th, when the Manolatis was filled with 321,000 barrels of fuel, said its port of destination is Pointe-à-Pitre. Nobody in Italy, nobody out there could put and authorize Pointe-à-Pitre as a point of destination without the approval of Paria Fuel Trading Company. How Pointe-à-Pitre reach on that document, Newman George? You want to print more ad? How was the original document stamped in Italy by European officials? Stamped Pointe-à-Pitre. Please show the purchase by Paria on or before February 27th. You all understand now? How Pointe-à-Pitre just jump in that? So fuel loaded quite across in Europe. And just by flukes, they play any, mini, miny, more and say, "Oi, Pointe-à-Pitre." Interesting, eh? Paria, who approached you to purchase fuel from Trafigura PTE? Because in your first line of your ad, you said on the 27th after Delcy left, somebody approached Paria. Who approached? How they approach? They approach on WhatsApp, they approach on Face, they approach on Facebook, they approach by TT Post. How they made the approach? And how they made the approach. And then to buy 200,000 barrels for 7.974 million US. Was this paid, Paria? Media people, record this. Was that paid? The Trafigura PTE invoice is dated April 6th. It gave Paria 30 days to pay. 30 days would have been approximately May the 4th, May the 5th. Paria, did you pay 7.94 million US dollars to Wilmer Rupetti and Trafigura PTE of taxpayers' money? Yes or no? If so, show, because it's irrefutable evidence, and okay. To whom was it paid and from which bank account? And banks, be very careful, eh? You don't want Uncle Sam in all your business because you all will bust, eh? When they put sanction on a bank, please don't even play, eh? How did Paria learn of this available gas? Who from ES Euro Shipping approached Paria to purchase fuel? Does Paria normally sell and listen to this, all y'all businessmen who listening, please, y'all are the intelligentsia, y'all are the intellectual capital of the country. Please help me, because I are dunce. How did ES Euro Shipping Trading Company from Geneva with 6 employees and 750,000 annual revenue, how did they qualify to make a spot buy of 5.6 million US? In any of your businesses, would you do that? Courts, Standard, American stores. If a man making $3,000 a month, he could buy a TV from you for $40,000. He could qualify for that TV, or he had to buy a little TV for a little smaller price. After, if he had $3,000, he had to pay rent, he had to buy food and so on. So he might have a little $200 disposable. What he qualified for? A big 80-inch flat screen, curve screen TV for 80,000 or 100,000? I don't think so. So how this little company, how did this little company, how was it qualified and approved by Paria for a one-off sale of 5.6 million US? Newman George, irrefutable boy, ask the answer now. Did ES Euro Shipping pay that 5.634 million US dollars by wire transfer from Deutsche Bank to RBC on the 15th as the newspaper press release that Rowley is boasting about? That's irrefutable evidence. Okay. Well, RBC, Paria account, please show the media the deposit of 5.634 million US transfer on the 15th of April from Deutsche Bank ES Euro trading account. That's irrefutable. If you show me that, I say, what? You only have to show me 40 more things now and it will become irrefutable. What invoice was used for payment on that 15th? What invoice? Because if you all remember, the Paria invoice was dated 12 days after that. So how they pay on an invoice that did not exist? And you all want to vote for that human being? That position of Prime Minister is the highest, most powerful position in the country. That man is the least qualified human being to ever be considered. Out of 1.41 million people, he is about 1.412 in line for that position. Why does the invoice have First Citizens Bank Paria account when Newman George printed in the press irrefutably that the money went into RBC, Paria's account at RBC? So if the invoice have First Citizens Bank Queens Park Savannah with the number and the account and so on, how ES Trade, how Ruben Petty and them know that Paria even have a RBC account? You're taking my time, you know, because I want all you, including all your PNM, all your shame, really and truly. All your shame, that man is a total disgrace, and he pumping small pin on top of all you to walk all over all you. I shame for all you, and I don't like no PNM. If the contract was totally, fully, wholly and completely satisfied on April 15th as stated by the newspaper press release that Rowley is boasting about, how was the sanction clause inserted on April 23rd, 8 days after? So you have a completed contract executed, done. You going to amend it? What's the point? What's the legality? What does not exist? The contract consideration was paid, if they say, on the 15th. So you change a contract on the 23rd. Is sanction clause a standard clause for all you bright people in the oil industry? Isn't it a standard clause? So why was it left out? If, as Rowley, Franklin, Can and Smallpin say, once Paria sell, we do not care where the gas reach. Once we sell, we done. Then why, after the sale was made on April 15th, did they attempt to put in a sanction clause as stated by Smallpin? All you follow me? Franklin, Can, Rowley, all of them say, well, once we sell, we are not responsible for where it end up. Well, on the 15th, payment was made. The ship left on the 21st. You don't care no more from the 21st. So why by Asha Javid report about this clause after hugging up Smallpin home by them? That nobody see the clause. Why would you care to insert a clause? Because it's gone already. And according to you, Franklin Can, and you, Rowley, and you, Stuart Young, once we sell it here, we don't care where it goes. It's not our responsibility. Oh, Lord. Rowley, fuel was sold to Aruba. Aruba said we didn't want no fuel, we didn't buy no fuel, we didn't ask for all no fuel, and we didn't pay for no fuel. But you still claiming in Parliament that you sold, Paria and your friend Newman George sold fuel to Aruba. So you calling the whole of Netherlands, the whole Aruba, all them is liar except you. Use Mother Teresa, Rowley. Therefore, if innocent, would it put a Prime Minister be very, very interested Okay, let's pretend Rowley was innocent now and know nothing. Okay, let's pretend the LC really came to talk COVID, and then it went to national security, and then it went to refugee, and he didn't know Astroval. He didn't Astroval. I'm now discovering Astroval. Some fella, Chavez Astroval. Then the LC was coming in 16th, and we changed it to 20th. Let me pretend Rowley don't lie. Let me pretend for a moment. Bear with me. Wouldn't you be very upset that somebody had hoodwinked you, that somebody had tricked you, that someone had tricked your company in an energy deal and put your entire country at risk? Wouldn't you be angry? Wouldn't you want to bring down those perpetrators on fraud? Wouldn't you be making meetings with the FBI, the CIA, the State Department? Wouldn't you put DouglAR and your Attorney General on the case of ES Euro trading and Wilmer Ruperti and anybody who was involved in hoodwinking you and tricking you and taking your gas and surreptitiously putting it in Venezuela and offloading it at El Palito? Wouldn't you be angry? And we know how Rowley looks when he's angry. When there's procurement and projects that are being thwarted, he gets angry like a raging bull. Wouldn't the PM want to return all questionable money? Get that out of our system? Tell the USA, fire burn that. Them trick we, those fraudsters. We not on that, you know, Yankee. We love all your Uncle Sam forever. July 4th, we're gonna need steak and bus fireworks, boy. Wouldn't you do that? But you're not doing that. You're not angry. Why? In fact, you get vexed with them. You get vexed with the Yankee them. Wouldn't the Prime Minister report to country and US ambassador his frustration and angst and so on, that and reaffirm his commitment and the war against drug traffickers, narco-terrorists and money launderers? Wouldn't he say that and shout that to the mountaintops? Fire burn Maduro. We not support no narco-terrorist, no money launderer. I'm sorry for dancing the conga line for him. I'm sorry for attacking the US and saying take umbrage. I'm sorry for telling Mondelo he fast and out of place. I'm sorry for telling Trump what the hell you could do we. I'm sorry for saying we don't have to live up to the Rio Treaty. I'm sorry. No. Going out fighting, boy. Why you fighting, people? Why you fighting so hard? What Rowley love? Procurement, man. He's the best procurement man that you and the media, the Fourth Estate, have allowed him for 4 years and 10 months to procure with his friends and say Kamala and them thief. But Kamala put one chairman for one board. Rowley put all his friends in charge of all your money, and that's good. Keep it in a tight circle. It's good for corporate governance. It's great for transparency. It's fantastic for accountability and procurement process. The shorter you can make, he make the process so short that ministers buy anything. I know minister can't buy nothing. That's why I just talk so confident, because minister can't buy not a pen, not a rubber band, nothing. Under normal system, but under Rowley system, minister buy Galleons Passage, minister buy Incat and Hostel Ferry, minister buy 2 Cutlass ferries, ministers doing all kind of thing. Minister renting building to themselves, Forest rental, all kind of thing, and you all saying, let's go red and ready, boy, come on. I'm not done there, no. I'm taking a little break, and I'm coming back. We coming right back.
We are in Grand River, the hometown of our candidate for Topo Sandy Grande, Miss Nabila Green. And the reception here is fantastic. All of her family, her relatives, the entire village, they are out supporting. And I am confident that Nabila Green will bring victory to Topo Sandy Grande.
My darling friends, walk about.
You're not saying nothing.
I know. Say no more.
I know that. You're not saying nothing. You're going here, you have our full support.
Right.
Hello Trinidad and Tobago. I am Peter Kanhai, Chairman of the United National Congress. I am in the constituency of Topo Sandy Grande today with our candidate, Ms. Nabila Green, for this constituency. And right at this moment, we are actually in Grand Riviere, Nabila's hometown, where she was born, bred, and grew up. And we are here campaigning with her to make sure that Nabila Green becomes the next member of parliament for Topo Sandy Grande, as well as to ensure that the United National Congress returns to government and Kamla Persad-Bissessar returns as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Hi, I am Nabila Green, your candidate for Topo Sandy Grande. Presently, I'm in my hometown, Grand Riviere, with my UNC family, accompanied by biological family. We are on the ground, we're working hard, we're going from house to house, reminding of my villagers rather, of how important it is to come out and vote for election day for the representation that we desperately need. Now is the time for proper representation. Now is the time to make sure and be registered. Now is the time where 50,000 jobs will be available if you come out and vote. Now is also the time for secondary school children to have access to laptops. Now is the time. Now is time to vote for Nabila Green. Yeah.
No, you can't take what's rightfully mine. No.
This is a prime example of the wanton neglect of Tinapuna and by extension the country of Trinidad and Tobago by the PNM government. Here we have an excellent school that was built by Kamla Persad-Bissessar, the El Dorado preschool, which is something that we very much need in this, not only in this community, but in the country. And they have purposely neglected this school. They have not opened it because it was built by our honorable political leader. So I just want to point this out to you. This is one of the many mishaps and many mistakes of the PNM government, and we look forward to changing this when we get into the government.
So strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong so long. You know that my pride was gone. Oh no, there's something inside so strong.
Welcome back to DouglAR Politics. I'm sorry for going long, but I am showing y'all. This gentleman got up in the Senate, in the Parliament again. Remember, before he became Prime Minister, he rode in on the email gate lies, the greatest lies to ever be told in a Parliament in the history of the Commonwealth and Westminster system. But yet people still believe him and voted for him. And now he treats the Parliament as anything, and he will say that other people lie, you know. But Keith Christopher Rowley said that is irrefutable proof that this whole fuel to Venezuela, Wilmer Rumpetti, ES Trading, Paria, gas, Trafigura, Petrotrin Refinery with Ansel Roger, condition number 7 that they must sign a MOU with Trafigura. There's no truth to it, that the US investigation is a waste of time, that all of this is nonsense concocted and created by Kamla, that Delcy came here just to talk COVID. It had no problem. He didn't know who was Astrubal Chavez. He didn't talk no oil, no gas, no nothing. He talked refugees, he talked national security. He did not tell the country that a vice president of a country was coming. They didn't have no special meeting. He didn't send Smallpin by the airport to do a elbow bounce, nothing. But it's coming to tell you that his friend, Newman George, whose wife is the speaker, who sits there and tells you that it was okay for her to even consider a matter of which her beloved husband is in, and we must just take that. And all you're taking that and actually saying, I'm going to dip my finger for that. Think about that for a moment. They have the deputy speaker, you know. It ain't even no big thing. And the speaker could have tell the deputy speaker behind the chair in the office, hey, don't rule against my husband. All right. Them don't even want to pretend. They don't even want to pretend that them respect rules of propriety, transparency, Westminster system, conflict of interest, the apparent bias. They may even want to pretend that. We continue in it. Done it. Still a lot to go. I'm sorry. But when I tell you that man is a total clown, I don't say it in no joke. I'm ashamed that he holding that office. He's not qualified in any form or fashion. 1.4 million, even the children could do a better work than he. Did Kamala lay a document in the parliament, in the Senate, in response to Wademark's motion on Fuelgate? Did Kamala bring documents when Wademark asked, put a motion about this Fuelgate? Did Kamala lay documents, or did the PNM lay documents in Parliament, in the Senate? This document that was laid by Rowley's government, it's dated Sunday, 14 June. People, are y'all listening to what I am telling y'all? I hear some PNM balling and they'll have fake document. No. No. Fake what? The first documents I have are the documents laid by Rowley and his government in the parliament. So Rowley lay fake documents? Well, he did actually, but Rowley laid them, not Anil. And what Rowley put in the parliament, in the public domain, a customs and excise form, a form that is so critical that a ship cannot leave port without that form filled out and without 3 bills of lading. Look, I'm here no shipman, but I have to go and study and research and ask, so I know now. But that document laid by Keith Rowley and his government is dated Sunday, 14th June. The ship left Pointe-à-Pierre on April 21st. That customs and excise document, which involves taxes and so on, was 6 weeks after the ship done gone. Ship done reach El Palito and offload and gone about its business back to Liberia. That's normal. All you customs agents, all you immigration, all you government workers, all you permanent secretaries, are you all serious? And on a Sunday, with no ship here, the ship gone in the blue ocean, that was laid by Rowley. And y'all don't find that disgraceful? Y'all don't find that corrupt? Y'all don't find that warrants investigation? Media, Newsday, Judy Raymond, that's not a story. What do you want to print now? Bars closed for 2 more hours? This document was done 54 days after the Aldan left Trinidad and Tobago. 54 days. And it was done on the Sunday before the motion on the Monday. And Rowley says irrefutable evidence that he's telling the truth. And Paria did no such thing. And he didn't involve Paria. And Smallpin was not involved. And they didn't know that about no PDVSA. And they don't know about Trafigura. And they didn't know EOS is Wilmer Rupetti. And they didn't know that about Maduro. And they didn't conquer land with Maduro. And they don't support Maduro. And they don't love Maduro. And they don't fight on Mandela. If a ship was for St. Eustatius, do you remember that? They said, and Rowley said on about 5 occasions. Newman George said about 4 occasions. Smallpin even said it on 3 occasions. That the original consignee, well, they didn't say the consignee, but the destination port was St. Eustatius. Well, if it was St. Eustatius, how come the customs documents which are to be done while the ship, before it leaves, before the captain go, bop, bop, and press to pull out, those documents must be signed, stamped, sealed, finished, no joke. At that time, when the ship was leaving on April 21st, the destination was St. Eustatius, remember? And then in the Paria press release that I told you all, and I told them they should not have done that when they know they're lying. Remember, they said that somebody tell them who was doing some work on the ship that it might be going Venezuela. But they found out that it might be going Venezuela, and on the 23rd of April, 2 days after the ship left, they put in that clause, and ES trading, Euro trading, agreed to the sanction clause. Remember the Asha Javid article and Small Pin saying that with his hand? Remember this? Convent girl? Yes. Here the problem. If on the 21st, according to their story, the ship was going St. Eustatius, shouldn't the customs documents laid by Rowley in the parliament this year, shouldn't this have St. Eustatius on it? How come it has Aruba? Because it was done after, 54 days after, when the story had to be changed. So this was done with the changed story. But the problem is the ship left before the story changed. And you all want to vote for that? Customs document? And whatever customs person signed this, God bless you, good luck to you. Well, me, I know you might be lucky because like the police don't like to investigate PNM, so me, I know. But that's something very serious. Serious charge. Customs and excise fraud. Rowley, I find you not upset with your best friend who you trust. You understand? If I have a friend and I say, well, you in charge of something, I believe in you. How come you're not vexed with your friend, Rowley? Because you're embarrassing your government if he's so incompetent. Because it's not you. If he's not operating on your instruction. If he was not in the palace with Delcy and the 5 other PDVSA officials down the hall while you was meeting with some guy, I'm now discovering as Asdrubal Chavez. While you was doing that, if he wasn't meeting with the others, and if all of them went back home, and it was COVID, they was talking about sneezing, social distancing, and face mask. Why you not vexed with your friend? Why you not vexed with your friend that he was so dotish to buy fuel from a company with a long history alongside Wilmer Rumpetti, Chavez, and Maduro? Why you not angry at your friend for putting your country and yourself at risk? Because you at risk of sanction, you know, boss. Now, the whole country at risk now with the Petrotrin refinery patriotic thing with condition number 7. Media, could you all go and ask them, please? Ask Coleman, but why Trafigura PTE? Who brought Trafigura PTE? Who is Trafigura PTE? And why is that condition in there for the sale of the refinery to Roger and Patriotic? And then go to Roger, Mr. Big Mouth, Mr. Attack Kamla, Mr. Nastiness, Mr. Stand Up Kinda Ben. And Roger, why number 7? Who brought Trafigura PTE? Trafigura PTE, Wilmer Ruperti, 13 years in Venezuela, not a very good track record. Trafigura PTE bills Paria for fuel, but it's not going Venezuela. Wilmer Ruperti, Venezuela, it's not going Venezuela. ES Trading, Euro Trading, Wilmer Ruperti company, he buy gas and sell it to himself, but it's not going Venezuela. No. No, cabrón, no. Okay. So you didn't know. So you were vexed with your friend. He said that Wilmer Ruperti has a 17-year history of allegiance and support and blind loyalty to Chavez and Maduro. And he's a close affiliation of PDVSA. In fact, when PDVSA was shut down by Chavez and 19,000 employees hit the breadline, it was Wilmer Ruperti, like it's only Wilmer, Winifred Espine here and Wilmer Ruperti there, who get to rehire all the people at the new company. So in PDVSA 2002, 19,000 PDVSA employees Venezuela bust throat. Chavez said, Wilmer Ruperti hire back people. And Wilmer Ruperti hire back his people and put them in place. In 2017 or whenever, Rowley bust all of Petrotrin throat. 5,389 permanent workers and 6,117 temporary workers bust throat. And say, Winifred Espine and Ajoda Singh, you hire back Paria, Heritage, wherever. You all do it by yourself. Are you not seeing the similarities? Just coincidence. DouglAR just making this up, eh? because it was irrefutable evidence presented on May 19 on that Paria advertisement. You are vexed, Rowley. You are vexed that your partner embarrassed you. He embarrassed you, your country, your government, your PNM party. You are vexed. Why you are vexed, Rowley? It got story here, you know. Rowley says Kamala and the UNC make the story. The story now gets more serious and it's more important to you. Share the life. Because I'm dealing with small pin soon after. We're going a while, but I want to get through every piece of fact. Because irrefutable, that man say. I probably have about 50 question there that not refuted yet. I have about 30 more. So bear with me. Because when I call the man a liar, I put in evidence. You understand? That's why Anil can't get no pre-action, because truth don't have no pre-action. And they could take the pre-action and wipe where the sun don't shine with it. That man is the worst human being in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, and all you want to vote for he? Okay, let's see. Did Kamala tell Rowley to be friends with the boss of AV Oil? Did Kamala choose Dioki Singh as a candidate for the PNM in the last election in 2015 to go up against herself? Is Kamala choose Dioki Singh in Separia for the Red and Ready team? And only red and hungry now? Kamala put AV Oil daughter in the Senate as a PNM senator? Kamala Poinchi? Eh? Kamala tell Rowley as head of Petrotrin and head of the National Security Council to call the brethren when allegations about fake oil came up? Kamala say, Rowley, call your friend quick. Or Rowley tell all earlier, yeah, I called my friend. And you'll find that was okay. He's the man in charge of the company who is making the allegations. But he called the alleged perpetrator. He's the head of the National Security Council and he called an alleged perpetrator. And you'll say, yes, Rowley, boy, can we vote for you again? Did Kamala tell Rowley to shut down Petrotrin? Did Kamala tell Winifred Espinay to tell the truth under oath in the industrial court that, and I quote, Winifred Espinay under oath swear on the Bible, Winifred Espinay, the Petrotrin board did not advise, nor did the Petrotrin board decide to shut down Petrotrin. Remember Rowley said, is the board, is the board, is the board, is the board? As you didn't say fire burn you, Rowley. The board did not say that. So if it's not the board, it's Rowley and the cabinet. That's the only people up above them. And Rowley's still doing an interview with Kamal PNM Georges. And Kamal, yes, yes. Rowley said, no, that can't be true. Winfred Espinay didn't say that. Go on the record of the industrial court under oath. He said it. And how come Rowley closed down Petrotrin when you spent $64 million on reports that told you don't shut it down? The Lashley report, the McKinsey report. You spent $64 million on expert advice and ignore it? That alone you should resign for being a complete dunce. Did Kamala tell Rowley to appoint his personal lawyer, confidant, and friend as the head of the new Petrotrin without one-day experience in energy matters? Did Kamala tell Rowley to appoint his personal lawyer, Kwamena, in charge of the new entity when an investigation supposed to be going on into fake oil? A man put a lawyer there. A man with no experience in energy whatsoever. And you all say that other people thief and all kind of thing? Did Kamala tell Rowley to fight down the dragon gas deal in spite of global pressure on Maduro to stop being a dictator and to respect the constitution of Venezuela? Or did Rowley do that on his own, dancing the conga line in dragon style with him and an indicted narco-terrorist? Did Kamala tell Roger to attack, disrespect, and vilify Kamala and praise Rowley? Is Kamala say, Roger, attack me? Is Kamala tell Rowley to insert condition number 7 on patriotic to consummate the sale of the refinery? Kamala do that? And clause number 7 states, must conclude MOU with Trafigura PTE. Members of the media, could you ask Roger if that condition number 7 has been met? And if an MOU has been signed with Trafigura PTE regarding the purchase of Trinidad and Tobago's asset, the refinery at Petrotrin, please ask. And if you ask them, what does it involve? Yes, he'll tell you it's a secret. Well, good for all you. Is Kamala caused the total forex crunch on the population now when Tanti telling me she needs 1,600 US to send for her child and she going in the bank and could only get 50 per day? And was telling me she willing to pay 25,000. I said, Tanti, look, stop that, eh? I tell her, listen, if they're giving you $50 US per day and you need 1,600, unfortunately, go 32 days and take your $50. It's Kamala who do that? All of y'all who credit cards, limit down. So Rowley, you still believe at this juncture that Fuelgate has been totally and completely refuted beyond repudiation? You really believe that, Rowley? Or you believe that anybody except you believe that? Even my PNM people listening now and going, oh Lord have mercy, where we find this bald-head Oreo stranger to the truth from? Now, I want you all now. After that, I'm sorry for going long, but when you're in a serious issue, you have to bring up every single point. I think that even the most biased listener, viewer could say, Rowley, let me say some prayers for you. Some prayers of forgiveness and blessing, that somehow wherever you lost the script, wherever your conscience has gone, that somehow after you get the licking from Kamala and the UNC, that somehow in your later years, that somehow your conscience come back to you, at least in a rocking chair, boy, or Golden Grove, or whichever one come first. But now, having heard that, and again, I apologize for going long, but I think it was important to give you fact by fact, bit by bit. Now I need you all with your new eyes now. You have now seen Rowley. In fact, actually play back that clip with Rowley in the parliament again one more time for me. So after I've gone through that about half an hour, 35 minutes, to show you all how many inconsistencies, how many lies, how many links there are to Maduro, Venezuela, PDVSA, Trafigura PTE, Wilmer Rumpetti, EOS Trading, Paria, Delcy, PDVSA, Astroval Chavez, Rowley, Smallpin. This is what Rowley said, you know.
But to that lie, Mr. Speaker, it has been shown that Paria has not done so. By irrefutable evidence put out in the public domain, whole page ads in the newspapers, members of parliament on the government side responsible for Paria, we have demonstrated to the world, not that we are afraid of anybody, but that the fact is that Paria did not trade with Venezuela on that transaction. Paria's fuel documents went to Aruba, and those were properly made, Mr. Speaker. And they could say what they want. Those are the facts. And with all the help up, down, and across, as we speak today, Mr. Deputy Speaker, nobody has been able to demonstrate an iota of evidence to show that what Paria has said in his defense is not true. So if it is not true, if the foundation of the lie is not true, how could the arboreal top of it be true? It reached quite by the Speaker now. Reached by the Speaker. No fuel was sold by Paria. But what we must debate is the Speaker's husband, as chairman of Paria, is supposed to be guilty of something. The Speaker must see and accept that from the member for Orapooch and recuse herself from the chair. That is the summary of why we are here today.
How can you? How can you? How can you vote for that? How? Think about it. Think about what is inside that human being. I detest that man. Detest. I tell you, I can't lie. Everything about him. Because I know him since 1986. I detest that he's ashamed of being black. I detest that. I detest that he talks down to people of color. He talks down to people of lower, lesser means. I detest that he doesn't care for single mothers and poor people. I detest that. I detest his arrogance and his bullying of women and his bullying of those who are softer than him. I detest it. But not 1 minute, not 1 second have I ever lied on that man. But that man, just look at that. This is not a UNC PNM thing. Because PNM, with all due respect, nearly every member who has a card in the PNM deserves to be Prime Minister. More than that. More than that. What is that? And now, as you know, some of you all are now realizing what that is, even though you didn't realize from way back in Land 8. You didn't realize with Renaissance at Shawlands. You didn't realize with his sheep farm or Greenvale when he was Minister of Housing. You didn't realize with his attacks on Manning and Calderheart that it had to do with procurement. You didn't realize when he swore in with the email gate. You didn't realize when he talked about Manning in the most vile manner and talking about Lekoto and Spirit Lash and what happened to him. You all still vote for that? I detest that man. I would not want any ill health on that man. I want him to leave our country in peace, and I want you all to vote him out. But look at that human being. Prime Minister's a serious position. The intelligence, the character, the love, the heart, the passion, the ability to listen, the ability to come forward, take responsibility is very important. Look at that. And now I ask you all, now that you know who that man is, for those of you who now learning, let's go back and look at some issues, and now with a clear, fresh pair of goggles, that is that. Let's go back and look at the Bridgemans and the collapse of the Sea Bridge and see all the decisions that came. And you can see that those decisions were leading to one thing: to create such an emergency that we will say it's okay for a Prime Minister and his small pin to go to Australia and spend all your money, and no board, no tender, no advertisement, no competition. He spend the money, he meet the CEOs, he drinks scotch and eats shrimps with them. And they bring the so-called bits to his Gary Sobers, and his Gary Sobers heads the committee, and his Gary Sobers opens it, and his Gary Sobers calls one company, and the committee calls a company and say, but this company bid lower, drop your bid, and they drop the bid and they give 1-1. And then they say, by the way, give me 2 cutlass vessels too. Look at it now. Look at it with that man that you see in there that I've now showed you all. You see why I went through in detail? Go back and look and see what he said. The Bridgeman's money is crooked with the Kobo Star. That's 3.5 years ago. For the first year at 26,500 crooked US per day. And for the rest of the time, renegotiated quietly and surreptitiously 6 months period at 22,000 US per day. He said it's crooked money. But do you all know the only way the crooked money came out the treasury was with his say-so as Prime Minister. He used his prime ministerial approval. Only the Prime Minister can do that. So he consummated the crooked deal and has left the consummated crooked deal running. Vote back for that. Purchase of the Galleon's Passage. Remember they were supposed to lease a fast ferry? He put a ministerial team with small pin, called member of the Sioux, LeHunt who gone, and poor Shamfa Kujo who looking better since she in Ministry of Sport, she get fitter. That's about it. And they went and buy a slow ferry that people don't even go on. I say Tobagonians. Tobagonians, if they say it's Galleons, them wait for the Spirit or the Le Valet. He said the Galicia was corruption under Cadiz and Nairi Alfonso at 14,500 euros per day. But he bring a vessel from Malta that he went to see a biscuit factory. And Winfred Espinay have a house or something, then he's been Malta regular. I thought Malta was just Dwight York. Malta. Not wally good. I thought that was Malta. I didn't know nothing about no Malta. But we get Le Valette at 34,500 euros per day. But Rowley say 14,500 had teeth in it. So what if that had teeth, what 34,500 have in it? You have to get a new adjective. What about the collapsed HGC contract that his same Newman George signed with Al Rawi to the left, Marlene McDonald, Gopi Schoon, all of them stand up this line. The sweetheart contract, when Rowley was the Minister of Housing, he had moved whoever, Randall Mitchell, Stroopsman, or whoever, and Rowley tell you all, I don't know nothing about that. I don't get involved in that. And I tell you that they could not. A cabinet note can only reach cabinet with the sitting minister, the minister with the portfolio had to sign the red file. He was the sitting Minister of Housing at that time. And you all accept that. But look at it with new goggles now and know who you're dealing with. The $3.625 billion that NCB Global Finance, just lucky. We have major financial institutions in this country for 50 years. Republic Bank, RBC, Scotia Bank, Answer Merchant Bank, all of these big banks and whoever, few more First Citizens, sorry. And this little rat steel company come, and it just happened to be Angus Young, Stuart Young brother, and Udico just happened to move. Look at all these issues with new goggles now. And Udico just happened to move under the office of the Prime Minister, where Stuart Young happened to be a minister in the office of the Prime Minister, and Angus Young just happened to be brother, and he's just lucky that his tendering ability and his company's growth is so brilliant, so amazing. It had nothing to do with nothing. But $3.625 billion in government taxpayer work, when on September 6, 2015, he had zero. Are you all serious? Look at the Sagicor sale, Sagicor Maritime purchase of Clico portfolio. Maritime bid 300 million more than Sagicor. And Colm Imbert, the Dwayne, come and tell you all, Sagicor is a local company and Maritime has no track record, and therefore his committee and they decided to give it to Sagicor. You know who was on the Sagicor board? Richard Young, father of Smallpin, and Angus Young. They're just lucky. Just lucky. And Imbert said, Sagicor is a local company. Let me read something from your page 2 Newsday, Section A, Friday, June 19th. Let me read this from all you. I still have to buy it all. You don't buy no Newsday, no. Castani, you like it, so all right. I go buy it because I have to do my show to help give information and get the facts. Y'all want me to read this for y'all? Sagicor Financial Company Limited announces normal course issuer bid. The board of directors of Sagicor Financial Company Limited, Sagicor, has authorized a share buyback program that will allow Sagicor to repurchase up to 3 million of Sagicor's common shares, the NCIB shares. The Toronto Stock Exchange, the TSX, has accepted Sagicor's notice of intention to make a normal course issuer bid. Sagicor Canadian. I don't know what to tell all you again, you know. And before that, it was Bajan. It had a branch here, but I don't make it local. Maritime, born, bred here. Bid 300 million more. All you're getting tax. And that government tell a company that Richard Young was associated with, daddy of Smallpin and 3.62 billion pin, y'all win for 300 million less. While they cut school feeding, cut laptop, cut baby grant, put VAT back on food, cut everything for all of you human beings. They give away 300 million because somebody was on a board. Let's look at what about the Bagatelle Stadium? Remember when I was minister, when it had started under Gary Hunt, and when I reached, I asked the engineers what's the position there. They say, well, they had some work there and the contractor wanted 30-something million for it. I say, well, what all you feel? What, let's get the project going. Let's go. They say, well, there's only about $6.4 million we see in work, you know. I say, well, write them that, and that's all they could get. What do you want me to do? Well, the contractor did not accept that, so that project stalled. As soon as Rowley win, he moved that Bagatelle de Gomartin Stadium from Sport Company to buy his brother, his partner, Las Alturas, Noel Garcia. And it finished with the same SRI. So I asked Noel Garcia, what was the tender process there? Did you go through another tender process? And what did you pay SRI? The man who does play golf with Rowley in Millennium. Yes, I see it with my own eyes. Golfing and liming Rowley and your brethren. What did you all pay for the foundation that he wanted 30-something million? Did you all pay the 30-something million when the engineers said it was 6? Look at these things with new eyes now. What about Faris Al Rental? 23 million in rent to his own building, you know. And these are people coming in front of you and saying, Anil thief, Kamla thief, Indian thief, them thief. But when them thief, Rowley saying, but look at cash, Kamla leave here, boy. I didn't know thief that's throw cash in the bank. I thought thief that scoop out. But all the cash gone when Rowley and them they. But they say Kamla thief, but the money went up. I don't know. You see, this country we have to get serious. Because they keep shouting it, shouting it, shouting it. Let one of them come and rebut one thing that I say here, not one of them able to. Faris Al Rental, 23 million in rent, and take your taxpayers' dollars to outfit his building, to rent it to himself as the Attorney General of the Cabinet, and then tell you all that he recused himself. Well, I ask you all again, how could he recuse himself? Because without him, there is no cabinet. So without him, there was no decision to approve rental of his building to himself, from himself, for himself. It was not official because the cabinet is constituted of the Prime Minister and the Attorney General. Do you all understand what I am saying? Members of the media, you all don't care about this. Therefore, any rent that he has been paid up to this moment is illegal, illegitimate, and not based on a cabinet decision, and he has to give back every cent. But you all don't care because of PNM in our tight pants? Huh? What about Franklin Khan and his wife rental? What about the Alsing Convent girl? Since he reached his wife company, only getting contract. That's all right, that's cool. Great. Break. We coming back. At Small Pin, nearly your time.
We are in Grand River, the hometown of our candidate for Topo Sandy Grande, Miss Nabila Green. And the reception here is fantastic. All of her family, her relatives, the entire village, they are out supporting. And I am confident that Nabila Green will bring victory to Topo Sandy Grande.
My darling friends, I'm just a walkabout.
You're not saying nothing.
I know. Say no more.
Support.
I know that.
You're not saying nothing. You're going here, you have our full support.
Right.
Hello Trinidad and Tobago. I am Peter Kanhai, Chairman of the United National Congress. I am in the constituency of Topo Sandy Grande today with our candidate, Ms. Nabila Green, for this constituency. And right at this moment, we are actually in Grand River, Nabila's hometown, where she was born, bred, and grew up. And we are here campaigning with her to make sure that Nabila Green becomes the next Member of Parliament for Topo Sandy Grande, as well as to ensure that the United National Congress returns to government and Kamla Persad-Bissessar returns as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Hi, I am Nabila Green, your candidate for Topo Sandy Grande. Presently, I'm in my hometown, Grand River, with my UNC family, accompanied by biological family. We are on the ground, we're working hard, we're going from house to house, reminding of my villagers rather, of how important it is to come out and vote for election day for the representation that we desperately need. Now is the time for proper representation. Now is the time to make sure and be registered. Now is the time where 50,000 jobs will be available if you come out and vote. Now is also the time for secondary school children to have access to laptops. Now is the time. Now is time to vote for Nabila Green.
And welcome back to DouglAR Politics. On Thursday, I will go into more detail for you. Okay, here I have it. But I had to give small pen, right? This is more detail on who Trafigura PTE is globally and its Venezuelan branch, Wilmer Ruperti, PDVSA, and the company's track record, how many legal suits are in Cote d'Ivoire, in Netherlands, in Africa, again, in Venezuela, how many scandals Trafigura is involved in PTE, the company that Keith Christopher Rowley, Colm Imbert, and the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago put in condition 7 to patriotic, the Ansel Roger, the worst labor union leader in the history of labor in the entire Caribbean, who has overseen the demise of his OWTU union and still stands there with his head and chest out. But Clause 7 says that they must sign an MOU with Trafigura PTE. On Thursday, I will tell you all here who is Trafigura PTE. Okay? It's your assets, your money, your children's future, and them playing with it about red versus yellow, rah, 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 bring the rum and soda. Nah. Well, Stuart Smallpin Young, total disgrace of a clown. Let me play for you what he said today again. And then I'm going to ask you all if you all are really serious. Archie, play that clown for me, please.
Is it that is stirring up the criminal elements to use this opportunity as well? Very quickly, as a result of human intelligence provided and other means of intelligence, that this are being stirred by the criminal elements in our society. And one is asking the question now, and I've asked the question and asked for reports on who is behind the stirring up of the criminal elements. When we're getting reports from the ground of people being paid to go and create disturbance, who is it that are paying people? Who is it that stands to gain by disrupting the peace and quiet of our city of Port of Spain?
When will you all really have enough of this human being? Earlier this year, after December 31st, that person said, and I quote, "They are members of Parliament of the United National Congress who are actively paying criminal elements to randomly and sporadically kill citizens of Trinidad and Tobago." That's what that clown, that idiot, that stranger to the truth said. He has presented not an iota of evidence. He then came in the parliament on 2 occasions and said that some MPs had texts or information from people of interest, and the police on 7 occasions reported to him that UNC MPs, people were texting them who are people of interest and so on. That's very interesting. You in a government where your prime minister hug up Burkey in the president's house and all your special branch, nobody know nothing. The head of the national security didn't know nothing and stand up and take picture with Burkey. But that's not what you said. As members of parliament, ladies and gentlemen, we do not ask human beings who they are, where they are, show me a certificate of good character. We swear on the Bible to treat with anybody and everybody who's there. If they are criminals, then it's your work to put them in jail. If they're in Golden Grove, they can't come by IMP. They can't be out. They can't talk to anybody. But a member of parliament cannot discriminate in any form or fashion to any human being. So someone comes and says, boss, I need to get a job. All right, you have a driver's license? Well, you have a level 4. Okay, let me see, they have something there. Apply so. You want to go and try and buy Wasa? Boss, they are pothole by me. What? You saying, you looking like a criminal? You have on a vest? You're black? Your pants low on your waist? Come out my office? No. But you all allowed him to say that. And media, the intelligentsia, the law association, those in the know, Martin Daly, Reginald Dumas, those sort of people, you allow that. You allow the Minister of National Security of a country to say that people on the UNC side, in the parliament, are committing acts of terrorism, paying people to randomly and sporadically kill innocent citizens. That's an act of terror, punishable by death. And that clown said that 7 months ago, and all you say that's okay. And what does he do today? He comes to throw that same crap with innuendo. Now let me just be clear, because all of y'all are aware of what took place. There was a situation where police accosted 3 gentlemen in a Tida the other day, and they're so stupid they got caught on film. And let me tell you something. I have observed that film at least 42 times. But I will not deal with the film, okay? Let me deal with the version stated and reported by the police. The police basically said they came up on them fellas, and when they approached them, the fella in the back drew something looking like a gun, and they fired, and shots were fired, and the 3 fellas were pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital. Let me just deal with their statement, you know. Forget what I see on the film, right? Forget my cookie eye. Let me tell you something. Based on the police story, police will approach a car from different angles, making sure that each person has a clear line of sight to the potential targets, to make sure that there's no crossfire and so on. If someone in a back seat pulls something and the police feel threatened by their life and they fire, how the 2 other men get hit? Do you understand that if a man is in a back seat on the left, that the distance between the back seat on the left and the angle across to the driver is approximately 2 feet and 7 inches? Do you know how poor of a shot you have to be to miss by so much? You have to be a complete and total idiot without any skill whatsoever to shoot this bad. So if this man pulled the gun, how this man dead? Far less for this man in front. If that is the truth, then all should resign, because all is the worst police officers in the history of police. Y'all cannot shoot. Y'all are definitely need to go to the Blind Institute and apply for a work. So now that was caught on video. And I want to ask the officer who picked up the 2 things off the ground. What you was picking up? 2 shilling? If it's a clean shoot and people shoot at you and so on, what are you picking up? Number 1. I would like to ask all those in the know, if the normal process after shooting takes place is to drag body, change the crime scene, pull, move car, pelt man in van, move their body, pick up thing from the ground, clear out, and then let people drive up and down through the crime scene. That's the normal police procedure after a shootout. I am not a police expert, but I've read certain things and I know certain things. That in a crime scene like that, immediately the place is locked down. Nobody coming in or going out. Police, all of those have to step back, leave the scene, tape it off, wait for the detectives to come on the scene, the evidence gatherers, the forensic people with their white suit, hazmat suits and so on, leave the bodies where they are, take 24, 48 hours to get all the scientific evidence, pick up all the, put all the numbers, how many shells, how many shots fired, how many shots did they fire, what gun did they have, take tests of the hand for gunpowder, do these things. Isn't that the normal process? But on the video camera, we see police picking up human beings like animal, drop them, bounce them on the concrete, and put them in the back of a van and drive off. And Minister of National Security is now saying that the young black people who are protesting now are too dotish to understand that that's wrong, and that it always takes somebody to come and pay them to know their rights because they're black and dotish. Where you come from, you elite, stupid fool. We all have seen it. The young people have seen it. And they realize that that is not right. And sporadically and spontaneously, they start to protest. And you come with your lying, nasty mouth and bawling about people pay them to. Why people have to pay them to know their rights? Why people have to pay black people to know that that was wrong? Why people have to pay to know that they need justice? People are black, these young black people to you, where they find you, boy? Eh? You're Trini Chinese, yes, the DouglAR talking now because you talking down to black people. You can't, what are you, boy? You who never went up a level, never went Point 14 Borough Day, never lime, never played dominoes, never talked to black people, you coming to talk and talking down to people that these young black children, like they can't read and write, they don't know what's right, they cannot watch a video, they don't know what is correct procedure, they don't know about hands up. That's your impression of black people. You keep it to yourself, you nastiness, you dunce. How sickening. So that's what Stuart Smallpin Young sits down there with his lying right hand and says, young black people, and it went, and people know because it's live, they have social media, bawling about criminal elements to destabilize the country. The United States of America had 29 days of process in over 80 cities in the whole USA with millions of people protesting, people dead, car burned, shop loot. Nobody ever said destabilize the country. You're so dramatic. Well, please provide the evidence of who is to benefit, who is behind it. Please. You sit down there like a lion clown and just talking, and all your media just taking that. Think about how sick a human being has to be to come and try and double down on nasty lies. What could be so important in government that you are willing to just sit there and lie like that? There is no member of the United National Congress who pay anybody to randomly and sporadically kill innocent citizens, nor protest something that human beings see as wrong. And to your police, God, all you're sick. That's all I have to say. I wait for the investigation. And Mr. Smallpin, Dunce Young, you say you call the head of the PSA, the PCA, but it's an independent institute. So what the hell you call them for, you dunce? You are not to call the PCA. You are an executive member of the cabinet. The PCA is independent. That is not your business. Police not a report to you. And you sit there and lie. Show the evidence of people paying these young black people out there to protest. Anybody who was watching it, and I watched it from the start yesterday, it started off so disorganized. They didn't know what to do. They started on the main road there by Mova, by Lady Young intersection in Barataria Day. And they didn't know whether to move orange thing, what to do, and so on. And it flowed because the young black people are not stupid, Stuart Young, like how you feel anything black is a criminal. Remember you said that a criminal came to you as a member of parliament. A criminal came to you and you decided not to take on the criminal. How you knew the person was a criminal? He came and said, hey, MP, I's a criminal. I just put on work. I want to, that's how he came, he introduced himself, so, or you walk with a hat mark criminal. Or you have one of them device as they walk in, it's go beep, 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 criminal alert, criminal alert. Or was it just that it was a black boy with a vest and a jeans? And in your opinion, all black young people like that is criminal. You sick individual. And you all sit down out there, and media, you all accept that because they're talking about you. He could say anything as a minister of national security, but people paying people to protest. So you need to pay people to see that hands up and dead is wrong. You have to pay people to see that drag three body and pelt in a van and drive off and leave a crime scene while and people don't put no tape, don't hold nothing, don't cordon off, no investigation, no evidence gathering, that wrong. And all your black people just vote for that. Tell me about Indian? All you want to tell me about Indian? Are you all serious? It a Trinbagonian, it a no Indian, it a no African. All you letting a man who only know down the islands and Genesis nightclub, who never dance with nothing, never had a girl darker than he inside skin, come to be in charge and talk down to black people so? But they are so idiotic and so dotish and so disorganized that they don't know their constitutional rights. They can't read. They don't understand what is right and wrong. They don't know police procedure. They do not know what is wrong. That's your opinion, Stuart Young. Keep it. You and your brother with the 3.625 lucky billion. And your father with the lucky Clico. And you lucky to have Rowley because Rowley want you all up in the K-Packs. And all you want to vote for that as a black party. The DouglAR could talk race. Let me talk race because all you like to vote race. Race. Not policy. Not education. Not Fazal Karim Gate. Nurse education, certification, UE campus, MIC center, NESC center. Not Kamla job creation, baby grant, child fund. Not Tim Gopi Singh with early childhood center, textbook, food, special need grants, special need children, autism. All you don't want to vote that. All you want to vote race. Well, look what your black people vote for. A man who sit down and skinny face and disrespect all your black people. That you all are so stupid, you all need a UNC to pay all you to protest something that happened wrong. Think about it. Think about what that play the clown again, Lamem.
Is it that is stirring up the criminal elements to use this opportunity as well? Very quickly, as a result of human intelligence provided and other means of intelligence, that this are being stirred by the criminal elements in our society. And one is asking the question now, and I've asked the question and asked for reports on who is behind the stirring up of the criminal elements. When we're getting reports from the ground of people being paid to go and create disturbance, who is it that are paying people? Who is it that stands to gain by disrupting the peace and quiet of our city of Port of Spain?
In the words of Austin Jack Warner, ask your mother. Play my last video there, Haile Selassie, the speech in 1963. Play it for that clown.
Until the philosophy which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, until there are no longer first-class and second-class citizens of any nature, but until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, that until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, that until that day the dream of lasting peace and world citizenship and the rule of international morality will remain but a fleeting illusion to be pursued but never attained.
Because until the philosophy which hold one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, war! until the philosophy which old one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. Well, everywhere is war. This is war. And until there's no longer first class nor second class citizens of any nation, and until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, I've got to say war.